Hey, we got a Supreme Court nomination out of Barack Obama this week. He recommended, or he nominated Merrick Garland to be the Supreme Court, replacing Antonin Scalia. Now, let's remember, Antonin Scalia, super duper right-wing crazy racist guy who was nominated by Ronald Reagan right after they had confirmed William Rehnquist, also appointed by Ronald Reagan, super duper right-wing racist guy. Okay?
Well, they had moved Rehnquist from the position of Associate Justice to Chief Justice, and then put Antonin Scalia in that Associate Justice position.
Correct. So,
yeah, I was wondering why my Google alert for Merrick Garland suddenly started going crazy this week.
By the way, Merrick Garland also one of the bounty hunters in Empire Strikes Back.
And then Ronald Reagan appoints William Rehnquist and Scalia, two of the most right-wing racist guys we've ever had in modern history on the court, completely. And then also Anthony Kennedy, right? Justice Kennedy is also a Ronald Reagan appointee who is also a solid conservative on the bench, except when it comes to abortion. He also appointed Sandra Day O'Connor, who wasn't a maniac. Isn't that nice?
Right.
So he gets two solid, certifiable right-wing maniacs on the court. One not so much of a maniac, and one just a solid conservative. So Republicans nominate solid conservatives when they're president. And then George Herbert Walker Bush went on to nominate Justice Thomas. Okay? So I'm just saying, when the Republicans choose, they usually choose a real conservative, right? Democrats always afraid to choose a liberal.
That's a very new thing, though, and a lot of it has to do with Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. She was so disappointing to basically the Federalist Society and the John Birch Society that they basically held the Republican Party hostage from there forward, where no one can even come close to the nomination for president unless they basically tell the Federalist Society, I will nominate a Federalist Society judge.
Yeah, so the Republican Party they pandered to their base with their Supreme Court nominee. Judge Alito was also appointed by George W. Bush.
Let me say, Justice Alito is far more conservative than Antonin Scalia. He's just not a loudmouth.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, so they get to pack the court with really crazy right-wingers. And but when we get an overwhelmingly popular Democratic president who's been elected twice overwhelmingly with the will of the people, super popular, we don't get to have a liberal. We don't get to have that. We have centrists. He appoints Merrick Garland, and this guy is so middle of the road. He plays bass for Josh Groban.
I wasn't expecting a Groban joke. Done.
This is really. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if Democratic presidents actually pandered to their base when they appointed a Supreme Court justice? So basically, what happened here is Barack Obama pre-compromised again, right? So what he did was he compromised before he had a chance to actually put forward a liberal or a progressive or somebody that his base would really like, right? So he goes, they won't like him. I'll give them someone they like, and we'll start negotiating from there. So wouldn't it be nice for Democrats if Republicans didn't define our choices? Wouldn't that be nice? So this guy, he's not horrible, Merrick. He's good. He's a centrist. He's a centrist, right? I don't know. I would like to balance the court now. I'd like to swing it back liberal so we have maybe a couple of years of liberal decisions in our Supreme Court. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. What do you... so here's...
By the way, I think that you're missing the optics here, which are that I think he put forward Merrick Garland because he's the most confirmable candidate of all time. You can't not.
Republicans never do that. Ronald Reagan never did that when he nominated somebody. George Herbert Walker Bush didn't do that when he nominated Justice Thomas. Yeah, and neither did Barack Obama do that. I mean, neither did George W. Bush when he nominated Samuel Alito.
No, I agree.
I'm just saying, why
the Senate never said to the president before he did anything, we're not going to confirm anybody. And so what and I think that there may be a long game being played here where I think Barack Obama basically shot a shot across their bow saying, this is the guy I'm going to offer you. guess who you're going to get when you don't confirm him, because you're going to get a much more liberal.
Yeah. So what he's saying is go
ahead, don't confirm this guy.
Yeah,
the
but
most confirmable guy in the history of the process.
Well, why is he the most confirmed? Do you have some?
Well, I was going to say, to Robert's point, the other options B and C there are Trump nominates somebody or Hillary nominates somebody as the way they're currently assessing the campaign. And of course, they'd never want to see a Bernie Sanders nomination, and they're doing their best. Everybody's making sure that won't happen. But
and to be clear, Trump will nominate a Latvian hooker. Let's be clear.
Yes. Melania's roommate from back home.
Sure.
Sorry, I hope that wasn't too far. Anyway, go ahead.
So you're saying Barack Obama is calling the Republicans bluff by nominating Garland, not choosing a true liberal justice like Deval Patrick or Jane Kennedy or Elizabeth Warren. Instead of being bold, he's calling bluffs.
Yeah.
So why do the Senate Republicans suddenly disapprove? So they used
By
to
the way,
like.
I never want to see Elizabeth Warren out of the Senate.
Me too. I like her in the
never
Senate.
ever want to see her out. She's the most important senator right now, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't think she'll ever do as good work as she's doing right now.
So here is what some of the Republicans used to say about this guy, Merrick. Right. For instance, Orrin Hatch said just I think like
10 years ago.
No, like earlier this week. Yeah. Said that the president told me several times he's going to name a moderate to fill the court vacancy. This is Orrin Hatch speaking. That's this guy. This guy, Orrin Hatch. This is Orrin Hatch speaking. He says the president told me several times he's going to name a moderate to fill the court vacancy. Obama could easily name Merrick Garland, who is a fine man, but probably won't do that because this appointment is about the election. So I'm pretty sure he'll name someone with the liberal base wants. He didn't. He didn't nominate someone the liberal base wanted. He already pre-compromised, and he handed you someone you already said you liked. So of course they're against him. Why? Because the black guy nominated him. Just like his health care plan. What the F are you doing? You don't start a negotiation from the middle of somebody else's position. But that's Barack Obama's way. Okay. The Republicans have become so stubbornly obstructionist that Obama has to do all their work for them. Right? He's going to get that Republican in there. I think we can all agree. So when the Republicans want an inch, Obama gives them a yard. Right? And they're still not happy. He's always compromising before he has to compromise. Here's what's awkward for Orrin Hatch. He just said all that stuff I said. And here's what he said about 10 years ago when they were nominating Merrick to the appellate court. Here's what he had to say.
Judiciary Committee.
And he belongs on the court. And I believe that he is not only a fine nominee, but as good as Republicans can expect from this administration. In fact, I would place him at the top of the list.
That was then. This is now. Now Garland is being nominated to replace conservative Justice Antonin.
So that was him back then saying a lot of great things about Garland, Merrick Garland. What a name! Sounds like a drug company.
His middle name is...
I'm working for Merrick Garland. We make the greatest antidepressants.
His middle name is
America Garland. I don't even understand that joke, and I think it's brilliant.
Funny. It's good.
Sound it out.
Merrick Garland.
America Garland.
America. So Republicans are very upset that Obama is fulfilling his constitutional obligation of naming a new justice for the Supreme Court. This is following the death of Antonin Scalia, who died at the hunting ranch of a Texas millionaire who had cases in front of the Supreme Court. And it's been recently determined that Scalia died of a severe deficiency of integrity. Okay. So
he could. I mean, Merrick Garland actually would be a great person to be on the court because he would be probably the last swing justice ever.
I don't think we need swingers. But here's what I don't want sex in the. But here is so here's what he said yesterday. He was being interviewed on the PBS, and here's what Orrin Hatch had to say about this guy Merrick Garland. Then here's what he has to say.
But I'll tell you one thing I'm tired of, and that is when it comes to the Supreme Court, we should all be venerating that court and venerating the people on it.
So she asks him, how you doing this? How are you going to block this guy Merrick after you just said all that great stuff about him? And it puts him in an awkward position. Earlier this week, he said if he would just nominate Merrick, that'd be great. He did it. Boom! He's getting it stuck right in him. He's getting the knife stuck in him. Here's how we should be venerating the court, which I looked up venerate. Do you know what that means?
Yes, we should be honoring.
Honoring, yes. So I had to look it up.
It's okay. It's okay. You're a bricklayer. A lot of people don't know that.
A lot of people don't know. 10 years as a bricklayer. So, listen to the mental.
Did he also talk about his '90s suit?
I love the '90s, but listen to watch the mental gymnastics he does right now on why he's going to oppose this guy who he likes, who he said I wish he would nominate. He nominated him. Now he still opposes him. Watch the mental gymnastics. Here it comes.
And to put even a good candidate through this toxic process during a presidential election, which really hasn't been done before in this way, I think would be a tremendous mistake.
So he's saying that you don't want to take a nominee, a guy who wants to be in the Supreme Court like Merrick Garland, and put him through this process and have us Republicans shit all over him like this, because that just wouldn't be fair to him. This is how he says you don't want to put a guy through a confirmation process.
That's some pretty nuanced shit for someone that old.
What does it have to do with the veneration thing?
I don't know what he's saying.
Because he venerates it, therefore he respects it too much.
He's saying
I respect Merrick Garland too much
to put
him through
what we're going to do to him.
The insanity we clearly, the partisan insanity we're going to put him through purely because it's an election year.
Yes.
Like he's saying, like it is. He's basically saying it's Barack Obama's fault. We're going to be scumbags.
Yes, that's what he's saying. He's like, how dare he nominate a guy when he knows we're going to be scumbags to him? That's exactly what he's saying.
Saying the human centipede is for volunteers only.
Orrin Hatch is essentially saying the Republicans are a fire department full of pyromaniacs.
Yes.
Right.
Oh God.
So that's what's happening. So this is what's going on, and of course the news media is going to play it neutral. Well, the Republicans say that you shouldn't, because the Republicans say there's a longstanding principle that if a Supreme Court justice dies in the last year of a president's term, that he shouldn't nominate him, and that principle has been a longstanding principle since last week. They've never had this principle. This principle's never come up before.
It's a Thurman guy. It's from Strom Thurmond. It was a guideline. It's not a rule. There are all kinds of instances where it's been broken. It has nothing to do with anything.
Have nothing, and they say, well, we got to let we want to let the people decide. The guy just won 2 elections. I think the people decided. He overwhelmingly won those elections. So it's all that crazy stuff. So it's fun to watch. Oh, by the way,
and this guy is sitting there going, I can't believe my party is being torn apart.
Yes.
You're sitting there spinning this weird, convoluted bullshit.
Yes.
And you're going, I can't believe someone like Trump is tearing apart my party.
Yes.